Now, regardless of what happens with Motley Crue since they've blown up their end-of-touring contract, guitarist Mick Mars told a fan last week via Twitter, and Twitter is the reason why that whole Billie Eilish Van Halen imbroglio happened, because every day Twitter needs to become Chernobyl reactor number 4, and that was the cause du jour yesterday. But anyway, I digress. Mick Mars told a fan last week via Twitter that indeed his long-awaited solo record will come out. He says, "No one will ever stand in the way of my solo record, ever. Watch for it in April of 2020.
Well, Mick has put years of work into this thing, so I have no idea why he would shelve it. He certainly shouldn't shelve it, and I sure doesn't plan on shelving it. So everyone's looking forward to hearing it, and he's gone through a lot of different band members and producers, and I know that he had really honed in on a formula that was working for him recently. I've been in touch with him here and there during the making of it. So yeah, he shouldn't shelve it. And look, nothing will help create even more awareness than if he's back in Motley Crue, which of course he is, and Motley are active. What a better platform than to have a solo record come out during. So I think it works all the way around. I never thought for a minute it would be shelved because of this reunion.
No, not at all. Aisha King, wife of Slayer's Kerry King, tells fans that Slayer's end is final, complete. That's it, kaput, done. And there is not a chance in hell the thrash legends will ever reunite again, following their final show on their final tour that took place Saturday night at the Forum in Los Angeles. To quote the Poets Laureates, the Prague supergroup Asia, that is, only time will tell if what she says is true.
Well, we're at a point now where farewell tours have become such a farce because of what Motley has done. And, I mean, again, nobody has made a bigger deal about not coming back and come back than Motley. And it's because it's literally a joke now when bands say it's a farewell. So you are going to have to see people out there sort of reinforcing it to get anybody to believe it. I believed Motley, and I was wrong. I do believe Slayer, but I'm sure I'll be proven wrong at some point somewhere down the line. Everybody's got their number, and I don't care what people tell anybody in the moment. Everybody's got their number.
To quote the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase, every man's got his price.
You know the only guy who doesn't have a number?
Who's that?
Robert Plant. I mean, because they have been offered numbers like blow people's heads off numbers, like the amount of money for Zeppelin, and he will not do it. And I even saw an interview once where he addressed it, and he goes, "How much money do I need? I'd rather just be happy with what I'm doing and comfortable in the skin that I'm doing it in and the type of music I'm doing and where I'm at in my life." He goes, I've got enough money for 5 lifetimes. What am I going to do with it? I'm good.
He is just happy.
You never hear people say that, man. That's incredible.
Living his life as a Lord of the Rings character. Good for him.
I interviewed Robert Plant twice in England for VH1 Classic for TV 05, 07. We had wonderful conversations. I got to pull those videos out and take a look at them and remember some stuff from them. But we did a walk and talk through a flea market in London, and I sat outside while I waited for him to get a massage, and then we continued talking.
Really?
And we did an interview in a big castle in Birmingham, and it was all about his solo stuff, but we touched on a little Zeppelin. There's a great piece on Robert Plant, by the way, in the latest issue of Classic Rock Magazine, which is a phenomenal British rock magazine, and there's a very in-depth interview with Robert Plant, almost all about his stuff since Zeppelin, starting with Pictures at 11, but the guy is just, super comfortable with where he's at and what he's doing and happy at the level he's doing it at, making the kind of music he wants, very productive, very creative, puts out a record like every year or two, always out there touring, operates at a different level, just super comfortable at what he's doing. It's really interesting to see how he has morphed into what he is and completely content with it. While Jimmy Page, on the other hand, is just been the keeper of the Zeppelin catalog and keeps talking about doing all these other projects and just doesn't do it. So it seems like Jimmy can't get out of Zeppelin mode where Robert can't stay far enough away from it for the most part.
It's like they're two extremes. They should really just meet in the middle.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I respect Robert Plant. I mean, as much as I would love to see Zeppelin again, even for a show, I get it. I respect what he's doing, and it's one of the rare instances you can point to where the guy doesn't have his number because every number's been thrown at him to do it. All right. Ed, what else we got in news?
A couple more quick things here today. Megadeth frontman Dave Mustaine tells Rolling Stone that the band plans to release several new tracks ahead of their upcoming European tour. According to Dave, one of these new songs is a still-in-the-works Dave Ellefson penned ballad that Mustaine alluded to Kisses Beth as the impetus behind why he wanted that song written by Ellefson. Not kidding about that.
Wow. All right. Well, I know Dave and Dave are both big Kiss fans. I guess the comparison being this is something really ballady. Megadeth's never done anything super ballady. A Tu Le Monde comes to mind, but that's more of a mid-tempo, still kind of a metal edge to it. If you're talking about Beth, comparing what Kiss did with Beth, I mean, that's just an orchestrated ballad, radically different than anything Kiss had ever done at that time. So this could be a real left turn for Megadeth if it's really in that world. We'll look forward to hearing that.
We shall see. Leonard Skinner will take their last of the Street Survivors farewell tour into year number 3. After launching the tour back in 2018, the band has announced U.S. dates for 2020 beginning March 7th in Savannah, Georgia, with international dates for next year coming as well. On top of that, they've also announced their Leonard Skinner and Friends with a Y in there, Simple Man Jam, a family reunion festival that is set for next August at the Shingle Creek Resort in Orlando, Florida.
Nobody ever ends.
No.
Even if they say they're ending, they are not ending.
Or the end
3
never
years
ends.
in. 3 years in now on Skinnerd. I talked to Ricky Medlock and Johnny Van Zandt at Exit 111, which sadly is not happening anymore. But they told me, oh, yeah, we got a bunch of great offers from Europe, and they're not ending. Nobody ever ends. Stop. It just enjoy it and go if you want to go, but you'll have another chance to see him 99%.
Do you remember Lamb Chop, the kids' TV show? They had a song,
Sure.
The Song That Never Ends.
Sure, I bet you Billie Eilish doesn't, but I do.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'm 100 and she's
story
17.
For another day. But it's almost like this is the tour that doesn't end. This is the tour that doesn't end. It just goes on and on, my friend.
Well, I don't know. Do you have the Deep Purple story, Ed?
I don't have the Deep Purple story. I have one more thing to get to before we break, because today is a dark day in rock history, as today marks the 40th anniversary of the tragedy that took place at Cincinnati's Riverfront Coliseum when 11 people were killed in a scramble by fans trying to enter the venue for a concert by The Who that night.
Yeah, and I think of that horrible event every time around this time of year, not because it's the anniversary of it, but because I know this sounds crazy, and I mentioned this before, having worked in retail for so long, the overkill of the whole Black Friday thing is just ridiculous to me. And there were a bunch of stores that opened on Thanksgiving night and all that. And just that really rubs me the wrong way when I see stores do that. It's so unfair to the employees. And I had worked in retail. I know what a nightmare it is. And then all these stores, doorbuster. The image of having to bust through a door to get a discount on something, that whole terminology, I just hate it. And I think every time I hear it, and you hear it constantly in ads right now, get there early for the doorbuster. It takes me to it puts my mind totally in that Who tragedy. Because if you saw footage of it 40 years ago when it happened, there's people literally dying crammed through doors. And it looks like that when you see some of the footage of these department stores that open on Thanksgiving with these animals, these lunatics fighting for, please. It's stupid. But anyway, I think of that Who thing all the time. I can't believe it's been 40 years around this time of year because of this, this push to retail, doorbusters, and the images of people getting literally stuck in doors at Macy's or something trying to get in. What is wrong with people that they forget it? Anyway, I want to mention this real quick, tied in with the Skinner thing. So Deep Purple, who much like Skinner have been on a tour called a sort of farewell tour, The Long Goodbye. My good buddies Deep Purple, who I toured with in Mexico, just announced a tour of Europe next year and England, and announced they have done a new record, which I knew was coming. And in England, Purple's playing full-on arenas, so you could see how different Purple is regarded there. So nobody is ever ending. With all respect to Kerry King's wife, we'll see.